the Indiana Fever are that golden destination, and I can't help but laugh to the fans and the people online and the media commentators, unfortunately, who said that nobody wanted to play in Indiana. That doesn't make any...
Sheryl Swoopes is absolutely unraveling. She stood up, puffed out her chest, and boldly claimed that Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever wouldn't attract top free agents. Fast forward a few months, Indiana just pulled off one of the best free agency runs in league history. Meanwhile, Sheryl looks like a broken Magic 8-ball, wrong every time and shaking for a better prediction. Somebody check on her, because at this point, the Fever's success just erased whatever credibility she had left.
Fever, we're like, y'all.
That's not my point. There's a lot of other shit going on that players are like, this ain't where I want to be.
Over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some
it's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah. So you have players that are very significant on this Indiana Fever team that are like, I don't
want to be here.
Let's take a step back. Yes, Sheryl Swoopes is a Hall of Famer and a legend of the game. But lately, she's clocking in as a full-time Caitlin Clark skeptic, working overtime to push terrible takes. She confidently claimed the Fever wouldn't land top-tier talent due to so-called locker room issues. And yet, here we are. The contracts are signed, the deals are done, and Indiana just built a powerhouse. Meanwhile, Sheryl is stuck on the sidelines, pretending she didn't just fumble another prediction.
Anthony White came in and said, okay, hold up. Let me go to Indeed.com and Indeed get some free agents to come in here that want to play, that are accomplished, seasoned veterans. She did all that. Cheryl's been nowhere to be found. Sheryl got a lot of crow to eat, folks. Sheryl could be choking on crow right now. She need that Heimlich maneuver. If you see Sheryl Swoopes, tell her it's okay to come out and talk and say, man, you was wrong. It's okay.
I can only imagine Sheryl scrolling through her phone in disbelief. No way these players actually chose Indiana, she probably muttered. But yes, it happened. Natasha Howard, Dewana Bonner, Sophie Cunningham, and even Aya Wilson's best friend, Sydney Colson, are all in. The Fever didn't just win free agency, they dominated it. And when Colson was asked why she signed with Indiana,
Sydney Colson today, she said that Kelsey Mitchell was actually the first person she hit up because they built a bond here, playing AU for the last 3 years. She said she heard some good things about Caitlin Clark from her Aces teammate Kate Martin as well, so that made the decision easy.
Oh, the irony. Sydney Colson specifically mentioned wanting to play alongside Kelsey Mitchell, one of the very players Swoopes had previously dismissed. And of course, she wanted to team up with Caitlin Clark. You know, the same Caitlin Clark that Sheryl confidently claimed would need years to adjust to the WNBA. Years? Really? Meanwhile, Clark is out here casually dropping 40 pieces, while Swoopes' takes are aging worse than an unrefrigerated gallon of milk.
WNBA MVPs in your career, would you consider each of those 3 seasons as dominant seasons for yourself?
No.
I can't. Bro, Sheryl Swoopes is willing to lie about her own career before she even admits that Caitlin is...
At this point, hating on Caitlin Clark has become a professional sport, and Sheryl Swoopes is gunning for the gold medal. Actually, scratch that. She's sweeping the podium, taking gold, silver, and bronze, all while standing there with a bitter expression as the Fever celebrate another massive win. Oh, Caitlin won't translate to the WNBA? Yeah, tell that to Indiana, who's stacking elite talent like they're assembling the Avengers. Caitlin isn't struggling, she's thriving. And the Fever? They're right there with her, proving every single doubter, including Swoopes, dead wrong.
Oh, but players who will be free agents next year, there's a lot of other shit going on that players are like, this ain't where I want to be.
Let's be real. The reason some WNBA veterans and so-called legends can't stand Caitlin Clark is simple. She didn't wait her turn. She didn't ask for permission. She didn't tiptoe into the league with a timid, I hope I fit in attitude. No, she walked in, shattered 62 records, embraced the fans, and single-handedly elevated women's basketball to heights it's never seen before. And that absolutely eats them up inside.
New peeps, Sheryl Swoopes is been missing. Sheryl Swoopes is MIA. They got a APB out for Sheryl Swoopes. If you see Sheryl Swoopes, she did a lot of talking a few months ago about the Indiana Fever, the locker room environment, how people didn't want to play there, how people wanted to leave.
Caitlin Clark didn't need anyone's approval to become the face of the sport. She has more global recognition than half the WNBA combined. And that's not her fault. That's just what happens when you're a once-in-a-generation talent. Cheryl Swoopes, Angel Reese, Aya Wilson, and the entire Annie Clark brigade are just going to have to live with that fact. Because while they're busy complaining, Caitlin is out here making history, selling out arenas, and turning the Indiana Fever into the team everyone wants to play for. Just pause for a second and appreciate this. The Indiana Fever, a team that was once ignored and irrelevant, is now the epicenter of women's basketball. A team nobody cared about a year ago is now the most exciting squad in the league. That's not just impact. That's undeniable proof of who really moves the needle.
A lot of people say that Caitlin Clark moves the needle. That is wrong. She is the needle. She dictates. We all know what she's done on the floor. It's history, right? But off the floor, my goodness.
So, Cheryl, what happened to players don't want to go to Indiana? Who exactly were you talking to? The ghosts of teams past. Because real players, elite players, are signing with the Fever like it's the VIP section of an exclusive club. Did she really think Caitlin Clark would have to beg people to join her? Be serious.
Further, when a game that Cheryl Swoopes was calling for the Dallas Wings, where the commentator was talking about how great Caitlin Clark had been playing, Cheryl Swoopes, silent for 60 seconds, didn't even want to address it. And it got so bad that the game that Dallas then went to play against the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark, after the domination of the Chicago Sky, Cheryl Swoopes got pulled from the broad.
Somebody check on Cheryl, because she's clearly stuck in 2002, back when the Indiana Fever were scraping together rosters like they were hosting open tryouts at the local YMCA. News flash, times have changed. This isn't Tamika Catchings dragging a squad full of part-time gym teachers to the playoffs. The Fever aren't struggling to recruit talent anymore. They're stacked. Natasha Howard, a defensive powerhouse, a champion, and an offensive weapon all in one. And when she signed with Indiana, she made it clear she wanted to be here.
Gonna be Caitlin Clark flash show. So it's gonna be phenomenal playing with a point guard, like you said, that have a good vision on the court, because that's like, as soon as she gets the ball in her hand, she's throwing it up because she already see the person down the court before she even get the ball in her hand. So that's one thing I love about her vision on the court. I really can't wait to catch all those passes and give her all the assists that she needs.
DeWanna Bonner, a walking mismatch, a dominant scorer, and one of the WNBA's elite veterans. And what did she do the moment she got to Indiana? She took to Twitter and went to war with all the Fever haters, setting the tone before she even stepped on the court.
She's a great player. I'm happy to be on the side of her now instead of guarding her. Of course, she's a dynamic player, and you see that in what she's done in her rookie year. And I'm actually excited to see what she's going to do her second year in the league with a little bit, more experience and understanding a little bit more.
I think she's a great player. I'm happy to be on her side now instead of having to guard her. She's a dynamic player, and you can see that in everything she's done in just her rookie year.
I am just so excited to be here. I'm from the Midwest, and so for me to kind of get back to my roots and be close to my family, I'm so excited. Like, when I say that I am refreshed and I am motivated, and I just kind of feel like my spark is back. Everyone thinks I've been feisty. You've not even seen the feisty side of me yet, so this should be really fun. But for me, I'm excited to be closer to home. I'm excited to deep dive into the community of Indiana. I've already met a lot of really cool people. I'm excited to inspire the next generation of young boys and girls around here, get to know the community more. But I promise you that I'm just ready to win. I'm ready to win. I'm ready for y'all to be there. But like I said, you guys haven't even seen fight.
Sophie Cunningham, bringing the spice, the swagger, and enough trash talk to fuel an entire season. And guess who she wanted to play with? That's right, Caitlin Clark.
I'm very excited, and I really agree with a lot of the moves the Indiana Fever have made. There's not been one trade or pickup that the Indiana Fever have made that I have not been on board with. I'm on board with every single one. And I just want to say, the fact that the Indiana Fever have gone out and got these great players like a Natasha Howard, like a DeWanna Bonner, like a Sophie Cunningham, the fact that they've gone out and got these great players shows that they believe Caitlin Clark is great right now. They are on board with the Caitlin Clark vision, and it just makes me happy because they're not treating Caitlin Clark like a rookie who is gonna be good in 10 years. No, they're treating her like a superstar who is good right.
And by the way, every single narrative about the Fever, it's like whatever about them signing Sophie Cunningham, who they don't like. They love DeWanna Bonner. Like, these people, they signed DeWanna Bonner. And again, they were saying, like, we have actual people working for networks being like, DeWanna Bonner will never sign for the Fever for obvious reasons. And I'm like, what are the obvious reasons? Genuinely, what are the obvious reasons? They are basketball